Welcome to the Real Men Group Podcast. I'm your host, Mr. Gray, and as always, I'm so happy to be here. Thank you for tuning in to the fastest growing podcast on the internet, and I thank each and every one of you guys for supporting this movement. But before I get into the episode, this one is brought to you by you. You with the small business, you that's trying to get your product off the ground. Let's talk, let's build. See that email below? Send me some information on your product. But this is the fastest growing podcast on the internet. And thank you guys for respecting my shit, for supporting the movement. Shout out to Knicks Nation. So let's dig right into it. Let's address the elephant in the room. So why do men prefer pleasuring themselves over having sex with the woman that's laying right next to them? So why do we prefer porn over you? I'm sure a lot of women's going to tap into this episode. I had many conversations with the fellas. And yes, we have conversations like this. We all are secure in our masculinity, so we can have questions amongst the fellas like this. But let me say this, sex is harder for men than it is for women, period. It takes more to get to the point where we need to be to perform at the level that we are expected to perform. It takes more to get from the brain, because that's where we sending the signal. We send the signal from the brain down to I already know what we're talking about. And we are expected to perform every time shit gets hot. We must be ready when shit is ready, when she's ready. See, this has nothing to do with erectile dysfunction. Let me just make this very, very clear. Ladies and gentlemen, this has nothing to do with erectile dysfunction. Sex is normally 80% mental and 20% physical. So the bottom line is we really need to be in the mood. Women are expecting for men to be in the mood all the time. Yes, we think about sex all the time. Yes, we scrolling on the internet and come across something that we find sexy. And yes, we do, but the truth is we're not always in the mood to really have sex. See, women have it much easier than men. Look at it this way. A sex worker could have sex 50 times a day and faking it 99% of the time. All she needs is a little lube, the right moans, and the job is getting done correctly. See, men don't have that ability. See, we are expected to perform at a high level all the time. See, being the physical beings that we are, one click, we can have multiple women, and that stimulates 80% of the mental. Like I said before, sex is 80% mental and 20% physical. So we are these type of beings. So with one click, we can have multiple women. That stimulates the 80% of our mental. I'm sure you heard it before. Ain't no new pussy. See, men prior to relationships had the ability to have new pussy every day if he wanted to. But now that we are in a committed relationship, which means there's no new pussy. Porn should be the least of y'all worries, ladies, truthfully. But in some situations, I get it when you're not really getting sex, want to have sex. But let's get into some posts online that I came across about this topic. So my husband likes to masturbate more than we have sex. I feel like he's more into his hands than our sex life. I have a high sex drive and he does not, but he masturbates every day. It's infuriating. How am I supposed to deal with it? I am so upset. Am I being unreasonable? So here's the deal. There could be a laundry list. I mean, a grocery list of things behind this post. And the truth is, do you really want to know the truth? Maybe he's bored with the sex. Maybe he's bored with the positions. Maybe it's too routine. He's staring at the same spot on his ceiling every day and the beauty mark on your neck. That could be boring sometimes. What if he said that? Everyone wants to be in a relationship where there's complete honesty. But when a person is honest, it comes off as they're being rude or disrespectful. But listen, ladies, we know that there's a bigger eggplant out there, right? We know that. And the harsh reality is that we may not be the best in bed all the time. We may not perform at the level that you are expecting for us to perform, right? But we don't say anything about that if the conversation was brought up. A lot of us, we're fully aware of what the hell is going on down there and how we are performing in the bedroom. But we don't say nothing about that beautiful shower head that you are so excited about, or even your little toy, that little toy that went viral. What is it called? The rose? That went viral. A lot of women have that in the nightstand. Man, I'm not complaining about that. So let's get into another post. So my partner wants sex and claims to have a high sex drive, but yet he masturbates regularly. He's watching exotic porn. How can he not want sex with me, but have fun with himself? So listen, I want to read one of the responses that came underneath this thread, and I feel like this woman actually raised some really good points. So she said, that's easy. He wants to masturbate and not want partner sex, because masturbation and partner sex are completely two different experiences. Indeed, if they're not completely different experiences. So check this out. If someone behaves a certain way during sex than the way that they behave during masturbation, they are completely focusing on themselves, regardless for the wishes of their partner. So like, we generally consider that a bad thing, right? Maybe not. We might have missed the differences between masturbation and partner sex because you are fixated on the similarities. So 1, they both involve your genitals. 2, they both involve physical pleasures. But that's pretty much where the similarities end. The fact that one of them is a solo activity, while the other activity is the human pretty much being alone or with a person. Adding another real vibrant, complex person into the mix could dramatically change things. So I assume he likes to masturbate because masturbation feels good. See, partner sex can also feel good, but here's something about the differences between partner sex and masturbation that he dislikes. It could be something that he's not really connecting with. So if you want to know more about what this something is, you have to have a conversation with him. He may or may not have self-awareness, or he doesn't trust you to answer the question. So everybody, listen, at the end of the day, men and women, it's all about being in the mood and if the person does it for you. So if you are in a relationship, and it happens a lot, we get used to the same shit every day. We get used to the same positions, and men get used to being with the same woman all the time. So having the ability to watch porn and click and multiple variations of women, tall, skinny, dark skin, Latin, black, white, it becomes a comfort zone. It becomes a zone where the man is able to escape reality, escape the relationship. So let's get into another post. So my boyfriend chooses to masturbate in secret and rarely initiate sex. Is this common? And this was another post underneath this comment. So my boyfriend is the only man I've been with and pretends to sleep. He pretends to be asleep right next to me when I'm wanting and I'm hot and horny to have sex. But then when I'm awake, he does it secretly. So when I walk away to do something, then I come back and quickly realize what's going on. If I'm not giving him enough opportunity, he would still treat me like shit, being disrespectful and blatantly trying to get rid of me so he can have his own alone time. So even when he invites me over, I'm expecting that we're gonna have sex, but he doesn't want it. It makes me truly uncomfortable and confused, and I'm hurt. See, touching himself isn't the problem. I get horny immediately when I see it, and I try to reach out and touch him before he rejects me. Then he lies about masturbating. He said he doesn't jack off. He doesn't like it. Obviously, it's a lie. I have eyes and ears, and lying isn't the way to go about masturbating. It makes me feel sick to my stomach. I told him before that anytime he wants me, he can take me. I'm very kinky, high sex drive. I have tons of fetishes: sleep, force, non-consent, BDSM, play, blood. knives, literally so much, and he knows I'm down for anything in the bedroom, but our life is vanilla. I feel amazing the moment we start, but I'm rarely satisfied when he's done. He's usually lose interest after 30 minutes. The fact that I'm unsatisfied and horny, but I don't use my vibrator because I don't want it to come off disrespectful. Listen, as I mentioned before, conversation. All you got to do is have a conversation with the man. As a matter of fact, why not have a porn moment? Like, make it like a porn date where you guys are watching porn, where you can actually learn what it is that he fantasizes about. Because ultimately, this is what it boils down to. It boils down to the man fantasizing about someone or something that he is not getting in his household. So it's a difference. I mean, you using your toys, I don't think it's going to be selfish. Maybe you guys can use it together, but there's definitely a disconnect. It seems like you have a lot to offer in the bedroom between all the kinky shit that you offer. Maybe something simple that he wants. Maybe you're too nasty. Your fetishes are like too extreme for him. Maybe he wants something innocent, like a teacher. Maybe he wants to role play like that. So, but any advice I can give you, sit down, watch a porn episode with him. So this way you can see what it is that he really is into. The men, we want sex our way. So as far as men go, shifting the blame for their porn obsession off of themselves, it's not something that we need to do. We are sexual beings. We look for things to mentally stimulate us. But however, when a man turns to porn, he pretty much trains his mind. Like it's convenience, it's novelty, instead of a actual human intimacy. So Mad Frat wrote something about porn and men that watch porn. See, a porn lover has trained himself to believe that sex should be something on tap and made to order. He has brought into the Burger King mindset. He prefers it his way right away. And the problem is him not knowing where to look for that, especially when he's in a relationship. So in addition to changing the way that he views and seeks out sex, porn physically rewires a man's mind. So according to Dr. Norman Dodge, humans have two pleasure systems: exciting pleasure and satisfying pleasure. So watching porn, a man's brain produces higher and higher levels of dopamine because of the anticipation of consuming a wide variety of porn, satisfying his excitement pleasure system. But his satisfying pleasure system needs to have the real act. He needs to really be engaging in sex with the actual person versus watching porn. So a man's body also responds pretty negative to porn usage as well, as his brain becomes a need to feel more and more satisfied. The body responds in the same way. It becomes increasingly difficult for a man to reach climax when he's actually engaging in sex with a person, because of the way that porn has retrained his brain. We are made to experience the longing for sex, the longing to feel sexual satisfied from our spouse. But when we depend on sexual excitement beyond what's in our bedroom, we are pretty much damaging the ability to know real sex. So if you came here for answers on why my man chooses porn over me, the answer is laying right next to you. It's the man laying next to you that can answer that question, because we are all wired differently, literally. So have that conversation with your man. And fellas, be open, be honest, let her know what the real deal is. I'm Mr. Gray from the Real Men Crew podcast. Thank you for tuning in to the next one. Peace.